Hello and welcome to HealthyHouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support our show, please use our Amazon affiliate link below. Today I'm going to answer the question that I often get about watering, and that is, what is overwatering? What constitutes overwatering? A lot of people who are new or newer to indoor gardening, even outdoor gardening, sometimes think that overwatering means watering a plant too much. So you soak it, and you really soak it a lot, and then people will say, I think I watered it too much when I watered it. Actually, what overwatering is referring to is it is referring to watering too frequently. So it really should be named watering too frequently instead of overwatering. So what that means is, say you water it on Monday, and then on Thursday the top of the soil looks a little dry, and you think, oh my gosh, I better water it again. So you water it again, and then on Saturday it's a little hot out and you think, I'm going to water it again. That's too frequent of watering for most houseplants, and that is what's going to set your plant up for root rot and slowing down growth and just looking not real good overall, but especially for root rot. I do have a series on root rot and what to do if a plant has succumbed to root rot. Okay, so we've ascertained that we are talking about too frequently, not too much. So to water correctly for most houseplants, succulents could be an exception to this because you don't want to water them as much. But for most other houseplants, what you want to do is you want to wait till the plant is approaching dryness, and some of them even on the dry side, and then water. And when you want to water them really good. You want to soak them so that they are just full and saturated with water, and then you wait again until it's time to water. So I am going to show that process here with this lovely Dracaena here. You see this one? I love the whorl shape on this pretty Dracaena here. So take her out of her pot. So I've got her in a pot that doesn't have any drainage holes here. So if there is a little excess that sprinkles down, it goes down into the bottom there, and the bottom of the pot won't be sitting in it. This plant will be being repotted into one with holes sooner than later. But for now, this makes a good subject here. Okay, so what you want to do before repotting, as I mentioned, is you want to make sure the plant actually needs water, right? So I am putting in the moisture meter, and it is saying dry. So put it several different areas. Going to put it up close here for you to see. You're seeing it showing in the dry. Showing in the dry there. So pretty dry there. Little bit, you can do different, you want to do different depths when you use it, but this is dry. And as I mentioned, most houseplants need to go to the dry side before you water them again. This one could have been watered, probably should have been watered a day or so ago, but I was waiting for the video to show you because it was one of the ones that I hadn't watered yet. So I'm going to show you here, when we water, we are going to water a lot. What we want to do is we want to really saturate. We want the water to come through the bottom of the pot. It's a good, with these smaller plants, it's a good thing just to bring them to the sink. Of course, you want to watch it. You don't get a lot of soil down in your drain, but if you don't tip it, usually you're okay. So we've been watering. You can see watering quite a bit. You want to also use warm to tepid water when you water houseplants, not real cold water coming out of the faucet. The cold water can cause root rot. It will cause root dieback. It's especially a problem in the winter months when your tap water could be like 30 degrees or 40 degrees coming out of that cold ground, and your houses, most people keep their houses are between 60 and 75 degrees. So there's a big difference there, and the soil will be at room temperature. Okay, so you can see I really soaked it. You can let it sit, you can let it drip for a little bit just to make sure. And then another thing you can do is squeeze the plant pot. I have a video on that and why that's important too, especially if you have plastic. I'm going to water it a little bit more because, like I said, you really want to soak your plants when you water them. You want to make sure that they are nice and hydrated. Okay, so I've put quite a bit of water through the plant. And once you've watered, you will notice that the plant is heavier now. It's heavier, and obviously when I stick this in, this is going to show, will be showing very wet. So that's another thing to keep in mind. You can put it in and make sure. So it's showing moist on the moisture meter there. It's showing about between 7 and 8, which is nice and moist. Some areas are probably going to be closer to 10. It does depend on how compact the soil is. This soil in this plant is not as compact as it might be for other plants. I also use a lighter weight soil, which is better to prevent things like root rot. I'll put a link below for some good soils there too. And I use pumice for drainage. I'll put a link for my pumice product below too as well. So that shows you what is actually overwatering as opposed to just watering correctly. So watering correctly is really soaking your plant so that it's nice and heavy. You can also do bottom watering. I have a video on that. So you stick it in something and let it soak up water from the bottom. That one gets it, that watering that way gets it nice and saturated. A lot of times with bottom watering, the plant will last longer in between watering. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And it's pretty easy with small plants like this. You could even do it in its container, which I do sometimes. And then I empty it and then I put the plant back in, and any dripping will end up at the bottom, but it won't be affecting the plant itself. So there you go. You can see this plant already looks happier getting some water there. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.